Hello, everyone. This is Matthew Hagum. I'm back again with HireEffect. Matthew, Business Strategist for HireEffect, and I'm honored to be here today with Jennifer Scott, the fabulous CEO. Many of you might already know, our motto is people first, technology forward. And today we're going to be talking about one of the topics that's really important to our organization. It's always been a part of who we are. It's been a part of our relationship quite consistently for a very long time, and that's the topic of conscious capitalism. Now, last time we spoke about conscious leadership, so we figured we'd just hit all the buckets and work our way through the entire infrastructure that is conscious capitalism and look at how HireEffect is actually utilizing this as a model to do business. So today's topic is stakeholder orientation, which we love, of course, because it is all about the people. So I'm very excited to just dive into this conversation with Jennifer and sort of break down some of the different elements of what stakeholder orientation looks like so that you as our viewer can learn how to apply that to your business. Hello, Jennifer. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm very well. Thank you for asking. I'm excited about this topic.
Yes, it's a good one. It's a really important one. So one of the things I want to start off just looking at is actually there's a quote that's on the Conscious Capitalism website that I think is a really good quote that sort of captures the meaning of what stakeholder orientation is. So I'm going to read the quote, I'm going to share it, and then I'd love to just sort of riff on it a little bit with you before we dive into the question.
Okay.
So the quote is this: when you tug at a single thing in nature, you find it attached to the rest of the world, right? That's a good quote.
I love that quote. Yeah, no, I do. I love it.
Yes. Now the quote is John, I think it's pronounced Muir, M-U-I-R, a pioneering naturalist. So Jennifer, what does that quote mean to you? And how does it relate to this idea of stakeholder orientation?
So I really believe that everything is connected. What my decisions are today are going to impact a countless number of people tomorrow and in the future. I'm not egotistical enough to think that, I'm the only one my things, my choices affect. I'm not the center of the world. However, all of the pieces of the world, all of the pieces of my world are impacted by every decision I make. And I think that's true for everybody. So, if I choose to throw a piece of plastic trash out the window of my car, that's eventually going to impact whether it's, the folks who have to pick up the trash, or in a bigger perspective, it ends up in our oceans. That one decision affected however many others in our ecosystem. So I think that every decision that we make as a business has the possibility of affecting or impacting not just our business or our employees or our clients, but our whole community's perspective and all of the communities that they touch.
Exactly. And I think the important thing to highlight there is impact, right? And that's really what conscious capitalism is all about. It's understanding that the actions you have not only have an impact on the bottom line, but and your employees and your clients, but actually the communities that you touch, even indirectly in some ways. You might have vendors who work in different parts of the world, and if they don't get paid, then those people don't get paid. And if those people don't get paid, they can't feed their families. And it just turns into this sort of ripple effect. But even beyond that, of course, how we utilize resources, whether or not we're using green resources, and all of this stuff has an important impact on people in the world, right? So one of the questions I had for you that comes back to, I think, one of the core tenets of conscious capitalism as it relates to stakeholder orientation is this idea of listening, right? Of course, you can't help people if you're not learning what they need, if you're not listening to what they need. So can you just give us a sense of how you actively listen to the different stakeholders in your ecosystem? First of all, who are those stakeholders, and what are you doing to pay attention to their needs?
Sure. So I love our stakeholder, I'll call it map, right? That's what they call it. It's a stakeholder map. For us is very personal and very meaningful. So the center of our stakeholder world are our clients. And we also then include, and equally so, our employees, the environment, and the communities in which we live. And I love the fact that we actually include the environment in our stakeholder map, because so much of what we do is about automation. So much of what we do is about cloud computing, cloud accounting, cloud bookkeeping, going paperless, even in the recruiting process of, using the software that we have and the tools that we have available to not have to print out hundreds of resumes. And, so we really do believe in the power of going paperless. And anyway, so how do we listen to all of the stakeholders? A couple of different ways. I mean, number one, we're very involved in continuous feedback loops. So we're listening to our customers, we're listening to our employees, we're actively involved in our communities. And a lot of that is through continuous feedback loops, right? What can we do better? What are we doing that you love? What do you want us to do more of? What can we fix? What can we change? And also just, paying attention to what's going on around us. So we're asking, and we're listening, paying attention.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm kind of curious, knowing that you are more attentive and tuned into a broader scope of stakeholders, how does that make you different? How does that change the way you operate compared to an organization that isn't oriented this way from a stakeholder model perspective? Like, what's the difference? And I guess I sort of asked that because I'm curious, there are people who are going to be on the line listening to this that, they're looking at picking vendors or picking people to choosing people to work with. How does this make a difference for the person that's on the other side of this, working with a company that's so oriented in this manner? Can you just highlight that for me?
Yeah, I can. And that's a really great question, and something I think we're all very proud of it at HireEffect. All of our choices are made with our two core values in mind: people first and technology forward. So that allows us to keep our stakeholders at the forefront of every decision that we make. And what is different about that and how we make those choices is that anyone that we touch can be assured and confident that we're not putting our needs first necessarily. We're not putting our, how do we put more dollars in our pocket is not the question that we ask when we're looking to work with a partner or, even contribute to our communities. Excuse me. For us, it's really about recognizing and identifying the folks who share those core values with us, who are going to put people first, who are going to recognize the importance of technology, who are going to also perhaps be paperless and protect the environment, but who are also not just in it for lining their pockets.
Word. It's more than just about the money, right? That's good.
It has to be. That's really important to us. That it is, just look. We're all in business to make money. Exactly. I'm not denying that. But there's a right way to do it, in my opinion, and clearly in conscious capitalism as a whole. So.
Word. Exactly. So let's go back to this idea of making money, right? So our money comes from our clients who choose to give us their money in exchange for a service. So can you, I believe you refer to clients as the North Star, right?
Correct.
So can you tell me, obviously they are one of your stakeholders, but can you tell me what it means to sort of identify the clients of HireEffect as the North Star?
Sure. So because our biggest, the thing that's most important to me about our values is this concept of people first. And we put our employees first over everything we do. Our employees are the folks who are touching our clients' books, who are hiring for our clients open positions, who are, really impacting our clients and our communities directly. And so everything we do, yes, we're putting all of our stakeholders on an even playing field, but in terms of people first, it's our employees that we're putting first. That being said, we're here to serve a client. We're here to fulfill a need. We're here to make a difference to these folks who are paying us to do that. And so we use our clients' needs as our guiding principles in terms of how we do our work and how we serve that client and how we serve the communities in which those clients are thriving, because it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. We tailor everything we do to our specific clients' needs. Everything, we've got packages that we can sell, but it's different every time because our clients' needs are different every time.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense. So I want to wrap up with one last question for you, right?
Okay.
So we talked about the clients, which is important. You mentioned the employees. Let's go back to the community at large. And I'm just sort of curious to hear. I know you personally, Jennifer, are committed to several organizations and communities and causes. I'm curious to hear what sort of initiatives you've carried out recently or have in the works as it relates to the larger impact on the community around you.
Sure. I really appreciate the opportunity to serve. I know that sounds, I'm not necessarily all about the servant leadership or all about one area or focus of serving, but the concept of giving back is something that's been ingrained in me since I was a kid. It's a very focused center of Judaism, and that concept of giving back and saving or repairing the earth. Those things have always just been very important to me. And so some of the things that I've done most recently are, for example, starting a women's leadership lunch. It's associated or affiliated with one of our local chambers of commerce. And it is specifically just women helping women. It's all about positive leadership, and it's all about support. And whether you're a business owner or you're in transition or you're part of a bigger company, women face unique challenges in the business world. You could say everybody faces their own unique challenges in the business world. It's a special thing to me to be able to support women in business. So that's one of the initiatives that we've started fairly recently that really does impact our community. We also volunteer. Almost all of our employees are involved in some sort of cause. There's a great walk coming up that one of our employees is very involved in that supports IVF and miracle births. And that's really exciting for us to be able to participate. We participate in our local food pantries. And I mean, we really do what we can to practice what we preach.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Because sometimes, people don't, right? They talk about doing this big thing, and it's interesting because I think the thing that I'm attracted to when it comes to conscious capitalism is that it recognizes it's about more than just corporate social responsibility. It's more than just throwing a few dollars out there and saying, good luck, right? People, like, solve your own problems, and we're charitable, right? And it's about more than just throwing benefits to employees to retain them. There's something more meaningful about this framework of conscious capitalism that actually asks you to show up wholly in your community and live that fully, right? So I appreciate that. So
it's also it's also really special to us that we support so many great nonprofits and their missions. One that I would love to give a shout out, if I can, is Living Waters Children's Fund, and it was actually it's a board that was started by volunteers. One in particular who brought a bunch of other volunteers together to support children in really underprivileged, undernourished underloved environments. And it's a phenomenal fundraising organization. And not only are they doing this internationally, but now there's even a huge initiative focused on the immigrant families that are coming into the US. So it's really powerful. And we love to be able to support initiatives like that. Another one that we're really proud to support right now is a nonprofit called Career Gear. And it's like Dress for Success for men. So they're working with a bunch of other nonprofits who are putting men up for interviews and job opportunities, and it's suiting them up in these sometimes really expensive and fully donated suits. So it's exciting for us to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. Well, Jennifer, thank you again for your time today. Thank you for being an example to the community. Thank you for being an exceptional CEO and leader, the one that you need to be and the one that, frankly, none of us need to be if we're serving as an employer in the community. So for those of you who did watch all the way through, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them in whatever social media platform you are, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. We'll make sure to respond. Otherwise, don't forget to check out the other videos that we have on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Jennifer, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.